The willingness to give up one's own desires to protect those that we love is a true definition of selflessness and the true theme of this passage that I am going to read from Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice. In it, we see Darcy trying to give an explanation to Elizabeth pertaining his exchange between her sister and the person who was courting her sister, as well as his relationship with a childhood friend. Although his actions were, in Elizabeth's eyes, cruel or wrong, it was just his protection of the people that he loved that caused him to act in that way, as well as Elizabeth sacrificing her own happiness with Darcy to protect her sister. Be not alarmed, madam, on receiving this letter, by the apprehension of it containing any repetition of those sentiments or renewal of those offers which were last night so disgusting to you. I write without any intentions of paining you or humbling myself by dwelling on witches which for the happiness of both cannot be too soon forgotten, and the effort which the formation and the perusal of this letter must occasion should have been spared had not my character required it to be written and read. You must therefore pardon the freedom with which I demand your attention. Your feelings I know will bestow it unwillingly, but I demand it of your justice. Two offenses of a very different nature and by no means of equal magnitude you last night laid to my charge. The first mentioned was that, regardless of the sentiments of either, I had detached Mr. Bingley from your sister, and the other that I had, in defiance of various claims, in defiance of honor and humanity, ruined the immediate prosperity and blasted the prospects of Mr. Wickman. Wilfully and wantonly to have thrown off the companion of my youth, the acknowledged favorite of my father, a young man who had scarcely any other dependency other than our patronage, and who had been brought up to expect its exertion, would be a depravity, to which the separation of two young persons whose affection could be the growth of only a few weeks could bear no comparison. But from the severity of that blame which was last night so liberally bestowed respecting each circumstance, I shall hope to be in future secured when the following account of my actions and their motives have been read. If, in the explanation of them which is due to myself, I am under the necessity of relating feelings which may be offensive to yours, I can only say that I am sorry. The necessity must be obeyed, and further apology would be absurd. I had not been long in Hertfordshire before I saw, in common with others, that Bingley preferred your oldest sister to any other woman in the country. But it was not till the evening of the dance at Netherfield that I had any apprehension of his feelings a serious attachment. I had often seen him in love before. At that ball, while I had the honor of dancing with you, I was first made acquainted by Sir William Lucius' accidental information that Bingley's intentions to your sister had given rise to general expectation of their marriage. He spoke of it as a certain event, of which the time alone was undecided. From that moment I observed my friend's behavior attentively, and I could then perceive that his partiality for Miss Bennet was beyond what I had ever witnessed in him. Your sister I also watched. Her look and manners were open, cheerful, and engaging as ever, but without any symptom of peculiar regard. I remained convinced from that evening's scrutiny that though she received his attention with pleasure, she did not invite them by any participation of that sentiment. If you had not been mistaken here, I must have been in an error. Your superior knowledge of your sister must make the latter probable. If it be so, if I have been misled by such error to inflict pain on her, your resentment has not been unreasonable. But I shall not scruple to assert that the serenity of your sister's countenance and air was such as might have given the most acute observer a conviction that however amiable her temper, her heart was not likely to be easily touched.